Welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast, where your hosts, Tina and Colleen, talk about all things travel. From theme parks to cruises to all-inclusive resorts and more, they cover news, tricks, and insider tips to inspire your travel dreams. They love to travel and want you to love it too. Find out their best-kept secrets and learn how to make your next vacation extra magical right here on the Magical Traveling Moms podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast. My name is Tina and I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Miss Colleen, who is fresh off the Prima. And we have a wonderful special guest who is no stranger to the podcast, Miss Courtney Locks from Mystical Dream Travel. And today we are talking about Norwegian Cruise Line's newest ship, the Prima. But first, before we get into that, we want to take a moment to thank the sponsors of our show, Mystical Dream Travel. Mystical Dream Travel is an earmarked travel agency with Disney destinations. They specialize not only in Disney destinations, but cruise vacations, Europe, Caribbean destinations, and so much more. If you're ready to plan your vacation, be sure to reach out to the wonderful and fabulous agents over at Mystical Dream Travel. You can find them at mysticaldreamtravel.com or check them out on social media. So hello, ladies. How are you today?
Hi, Tina. I am good. I'm missing my cruise vacation though.
I can imagine you are. So before we dive into all the fun things that you guys got to enjoy on the Prima, first we want to take a minute and introduce Courtney. She has been on our podcast before, but if you just want to give a quick little introduction to our audience, because it has been a while since you have joined us.
It has. I think the last time I was on, I was talking with Colleen about Disneyland.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've been with the agency for 2 years now. I feel like it's officially 2 years, which is crazy. I'm based in Los Angeles. I'm the California agent and the resident Disneyland expert, I will say. And this cruise with Norwegian has been my second Norwegian cruise. And I'm hooked.
You're hooked. You're hooked. You're going on one next year too, right?
I'm on the what ship? Sorry.
Are you going next year on a cruise?
Oh, I am. Next year I am. I'm going to Alaska. So
yes. Nice. And once you cruise, you get hooked.
I'm hooked. I was telling Colleen, I was like, I think I want to do like a 10-day or 14-day cruise. And she was like, you're crazy. No, I will stay here all day.
I agree. I'm with you. I want to do a transatlantic cruise. Those are usually like 12 days because you have to go from the US to the Europe. I think it'd be fun. So, all right, well, let's dive in to your recent trip on the Prima. So this was actually a special trip. It was a special preview that Mystical Dream Travel got invited to. It was a preview sailing out of New York, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And Colleen and Courtney got to go. We're all so jealous because it looked fabulous. So just a few fun facts about the Prima. The Prima was built and it was finished in 2022. So it had its first sailing, which you guys were on one of the very first sailings that it did here in the US. It has 20 decks, which is huge. It only holds around 3,000 passengers. And I was really shocked at that because it looks really big. So I was kind of expecting it to be more around the 5,000 passenger, I think. It has a 3-level speedway. So racetrack at sea, I mean, you can't go wrong there. And then it has some incredible slides, which we're going to talk about. Colleen's going to share her experience on one of them. And then everyone's favorite, it has some classic fun games like The Price is Right, which that alone should make you
literally the best part of the cruise. I'm just going to say
the ship just looks stunning. It looks stunning. So let's talk about it. So let's start with, you sailed out in New York City. How was that? Did you like it? Did you like the port? Because most people, when they sail, they think of Florida right away. Don't realize there's other ports that you can actually go out of.
Yes, true. And I had previously only ever sailed out of Florida ports. So it was really intriguing. And I thought it was so interesting when I first got the invite to the cruise and saw it was out of New York. I started doing a little research, like, okay, well, where is the cruise port so I can book my hotel? And it's like right in downtown, like it's in Manhattan. I thought that was weird. Like I was like, oh, I really expected it to like really be in New Jersey or something. And
I've sailed out of New Jersey before, so just right across the way you can sail out of New Jersey.
I was really shocked. But I thought it was cool. I love New York City, so any excuse to go to New York City I only wish that we'd had more time in New York City, honestly, but just schedule wise, I couldn't go too early, but
you guys did some fun things, right?
Well, not really.
we had big plans, but
we had plans.
My flight got delayed, and then we also underestimated the time it was going to take to get from the airports into the city, and it was a trek for sure.
Okay.
But it's great for people that do want to come and stay like a couple days before. I mean, it's so centrally located. You could absolutely walk to a Broadway show from your hotel. You could see Times Square. There's so many great restaurants. And like a little pro tip for people doing transportation, Colleen was actually able to arrange transportation from the ship to the airport during our sailing and got a really great rate.
It was way cheaper than any other, because I had looked at how am I going to get from the airport to the hotel. And of course there's like Uber and Lyft, and you could get a taxi or a private car, obviously, but everything was very expensive. Even an Uber was going to be pretty pricey. So I actually opted to just do the subway, which was interesting to do the subway with a suitcase. Like I've gone on the subway before, but I've never had to lug a suitcase with me and go that far, like I flew into JFK. But yeah, I was so excited. Courtney spotted it like in the cruise like planner we got every day. And she was like, oh, it says they'll do transfers back to the airport. I'm like, let's go check that out. And it was a really good price, and it was just a bus. It was like a nice big bus. And, it's a long ways. It takes like 45 minutes, like to get back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think mostly because of traffic, but.
Oh, yeah.
But absolutely 100%. I would have done that. I would absolutely recommend doing that. It was way cheaper than any other option.
You did it through the cruise line then?
Yeah. I just went to the guest services desk and they booked it for me right there. So.
Oh, that's a good deal. Good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip.
And I would say another tip is like Courtney was saying, if you are sailing out of New York City, it's totally worth going a couple of days beforehand, so that you can really experience the city and maybe go to a show or at least go to Times Square and go to Central Park or do something. Because the day you travel, it was like there wasn't really a whole lot of time. We went out to dinner and it was lovely, but that was all we really had time for.
Yeah.
Well,
if you are staying after and you're gonna like do some things after, because I didn't really as Colleen. I actually took an Uber to a friend's house. And another tip is walk a few blocks away from the port because it's dead. And I got an Uber within 3 minutes and there were so many people out there waiting. And
wow, that's good.
A lot of kind of like hustlers, like kind of like, do you need a cab? Do you need a cab? Which I just never know if I'm going to trust those or not. So I just walked a few blocks. There was a gas station, got an Uber super quickly and was on my way, and there was no crowds.
No, that is a good tip.
That is a good tip. That is a very good tip. Cool. All right.
And the coolest part, we didn't even talk about the coolest part of sailing out of New York City. We talked about all the like pre stuff, but you sail by the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, that's amazing.
Sail away, and I'm sure most cruises are like this because typically your cruise ship leaves port, 5 p.m. ish. Ours I feel like was a little later, but it was sunset. It was perfect. It was like peak sunset as we were sailing out of the city. And so that was beautiful, like with the Statue of Liberty and the skyline of New Jersey, and then of New York, and then the sunset in the background. It made for some really pretty pictures.
I did. I saw the pictures. They were gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. So it's awesome. And so let's talk about the itinerary. So let's talk about the sailing. So this was a special preview sailing, but it is something, the destination that you guys went to is something that Norwegian does typically go to on other cruise lines. So share a little bit about where you went to.
Well,
so we went to Nova Scotia.
Nice.
And we only had one stop, but I think typically like when I've looked at other itineraries that Norwegian does out of New York to Canada, usually you'd have a couple of stops, but just because I think of the nature of our cruise and how short it was, we just had the one. So we went to Halifax and it was really cool. I'd never been there before.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the day that we went, Colleen had a friend actually that was kind of giving us all of the like inside tips for Halifax.
I have a friend who's from there. So I asked her, like, tell me all the things.
Yeah. And we got lucky because there was a farmer's market going on.
Oh, nice.
And I think it only happens on
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only Saturdays. So we just happened to be there on the day that they had the farmer's market. But yeah, and I've liked Halifax a lot. Because it's very walkable. Like you can easily just get off of the ship and walk around the town, like you don't, there's a lot to see just right there in the city of Halifax.
Yeah, there's a pier walk. We walked kind of far ways down. There's a ton of eateries. The farmer's market was amazing. I convinced Colleen to buy all the things.
I know. Courtney was spending all of my money. Like,
I'm not surprised. She
talked me into everything. I was like, oh, do I want this? She's like, yeah, you do. Of course you do.
Like, Colleen, come look at this. This is awesome.
There was some amazing looking food. I was actually kind of wishing we hadn't had breakfast. Like, I was like, wow, we could have gotten some cool food here for breakfast instead.
I saw a video of you trying something a little bit spicy.
Oh,
yeah.
The hot honey. Yeah. I made her do that.
It was funny. She was buying it. So she actually bought the hot honey. I'm assuming it was a gift for someone.
Yeah, it was, well, for me, and then I got one for my brother. They had these little keychain hot honeys for you to take with you. So,
but she made me sample it. So I don't know.
You didn't sample it, Courtney?
No, because it was super early in the morning. I think we'd eaten breakfast before. I was stuffed. What did we did something before? We were stuffed.
We went to the local for breakfast that morning.
Yeah. And so then
we had a good breakfast. We did have a good breakfast.
And they had all this wonderful fresh home. They had pierogies, they had beautiful foods. And I was like, I'm stuffed. I cannot eat.
I'm still regretting that we didn't buy those pierogies. We thought about buying these like handmade, like she was frying them right in front of you, pierogies. And we did stop at her table and Courtney was like, oh, we could buy those and split them. And I was like, yeah, but we were very full. So honestly, that would be my tip. If you go on a Saturday, do not eat breakfast on the ship.
Just go to the farmer's market.
Go to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pass the pierogies because that's like a staple here in Pittsburgh.
We're so full. That's how.
So yeah, I would have had to stop at least one in.
We did go to a very cute little pub and had some fish and chips and some poutine. Actually, the chips were really well, I had poutine. I don't think you got the poutine.
No, I didn't. I'm not a poutine-er.
What is poutine?
My friend from Nova Scotia would actually say, I'm saying it's not poutine, it's poutine. That's how you're supposed to say it. It's poutine. I know. She's always she corrects me and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's we said poutine. It's French fries with gravy and cheese curds on top.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's great. It's gravy cheese fries, basically. Yeah. Like that's. But yeah, Courtney was good. She didn't eat that.
No, but I did the fish and chips, and we had a local beer that was great. I was like, I could move here. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
It was a really beautiful city. Yeah. I would love to go back and have more time to.
Yes, because I was going to say a couple things that I think if we weren't, because we wanted to get back to the ship because we wanted to really experience the ship. But I think if we were like just vacationing, a couple of the good excursion options, the Titanic Museum, or was it the cemetery museum?
There was a museum and a cemetery. So Halifax was the closest port to where the Titanic sank. So the ships that went to try to rescue people actually left from Halifax but of course they didn't find any survivors really, you know, like they mostly just collected bodies, kind of morbid, but so they actually have a
real thing on a cruise ship.
I know, right? I know, maybe not the best thing. I don't know. My family is like obsessed with Titanic, so I wanted to go to it, but we really did try to just pack a little bit in and then get back on the ship. But so they have a cemetery with the I think there's like 54 bodies, like, then some of them they don't even have the names, but then there's also a museum. So there's a little bit of Titanic history and lore in Halifax. And then there was Peggy's Cove that we almost did that, but it was 45 minutes away, you know, to drive and there was a bus obviously that took you, and then it's a lighthouse on this really beautiful like rock outcropping, and there's all kinds of fun stuff to do there, but we just felt time-wise, we knew we were really there to experience the ship, so we didn't spend as much time at port as, like Courtney said. If we'd been on just a vacation, we would have spent more time.
Well, it's just all the more reason to take a vacation, right? And
I mean, I would totally go back and do that cruise itinerary again. Like I thought it was really cool.
Nice, very nice. So let's talk about a little stateroom. So let's dive into some staterooms. So they looked gorgeous. They looked amazing. So tell us a little bit the stateroom that you had, the staterooms that you saw, and maybe a recommendation of where you would like to stay or recommend a family to stay.
Ooh, that's a lot of questions there.
I know it's a lot of questions.
You want to start, Courtney?
I'll start. Well, I'll just start by just a general overview. So we were told that the staterooms on the ship have 50% more space than the other ships, which I think kind of what you were talking about earlier, Tina, with how large the ship looked, and then it could technically probably hold more passengers, but they really were wanting to amplify guest experience. So a lot of that space went into making the staterooms larger and then less guest count. So you have a more intimate experience on the ship, and not so much of a crowded feel. So we had an ocean view stateroom, and I had only ever had a balcony because I'm just so like bougie like that.
Yeah, bougie, Courtney.
But so I was like, I wonder how this is going to be, but it was lovely. The porthole was actually so lovely. I got so many cool pictures and videos just from that porthole because you're just closer to ocean level. And I got a lot of comments from people really loving that, because a lot of the thing about cruising is like you want to be, you're into the ocean, and I love sea days especially, you know, so it was really awesome to be able to just kind of look out and see. The room was gorgeous, light, sleek furniture, felt super spacious. I felt like it had a lot of storage and a lot of cool storage because the way the closets were set up, we each got our own closet. And I was looking at occupancy count for those ocean view rooms. It's a double occupancy. So I don't think they're allowing 3 or 4 passengers in those.
Yeah, I was wondering if they had any where the sofa became a bed.
I'm wondering that too. But
ours did not. Like our room was definitely just for 2, but
ours was for 2. So yeah, it's perfect. You each have your own little closet, and then an extra separate open closet that we put like coats and backpacks and stuff in. And then I mean, the bathroom was amazing. The bathroom was so spacious. Walk-in shower that, I mean, I never felt like cramped in that shower at all.
Good.
It was like the waterfall was great. I mean, it was just felt like a luxury room, and it was so good. So I mean,
definitely felt, it definitely felt like a higher end room category than just an ocean view stateroom. So the bathroom in particular, I just have to say the bathroom was gorgeous. Like it's probably the nicest, most beautiful bathroom I've ever had on a cruise in a stateroom. So I just really thought the design of the ship, clearly they put a lot of thought into it, and it was functional but beautiful. So it was like there was nothing extra, there was nothing unnecessary, and everything seemed to have a purpose, but it was also beautifully designed. So I can't say enough good things about it.
And so many outlets too. I know a lot of people are wondering about where they're going to plug things in. We each had our little tables next to our beds, had USB plugs, and the littler What's the littler one called?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the new iPhone ones, the smaller jack. They even had one of those, and it was like in the lamp. And this is what I mean by
nice.
function and just the design. It made sense. It was like these really cool looking lamps, and then they had USB plugs in the lamps. But then also at the desk, there were multiple plugs and USB plugs. So there was just everything you needed, was designed in there somehow.
Very thoughtful, it sounds like. Yes. And the plugs is a big thing, especially with devices. So that's like one of the biggest questions we always get asked. What's the plug situation like?
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful room. And then we got to tour some other staterooms. They had several categories of staterooms available for us to look at, which was great. And we got to see a balcony, like a standard balcony, which honestly was exactly the same as our room. It just had a balcony on it. And the balcony, one of the things we noticed the first day was that all the balcony chairs had cushions, which is different.
Yeah, it is very
different.
I've
never seen that.
Yeah, most of them are like a netting. There's some kind of netting, or they're metal, or
Right, exactly. Like they're not the most comfortable,
Yeah,
chairs. Yeah. But these, of course, I didn't sit in any of them. We looked at them, but they looked really comfortable, and it kind of like made me feel more like old fashioned, like cruising, like back in the day where the staterooms would have these beautifully appointed furniture and cushioned chairs, and the chairs themselves looked like they were like wicker or something, and then they had the cushions. So it just gave it a little bit more of a higher class luxury feel, I felt like. But the balcony stateroom was very nice. And absolutely, if you want a balcony, that it was a great room. And they do have balcony staterooms where the sofa is a bed. So you can have, some can do up to 4. And then we also saw club level balcony room, which was a little bigger and also comes with a bunch of perks. So that's an interesting thing that Norwegian has. They have these, they have like several different tiers of staterooms, I feel like, but they have these club level rooms where you just get a little bit extra amenities and services, and the rooms are like a little bigger and a little nicer than the standard ones. And my personal favorite was a family stateroom with a master bedroom. So it was amazing. Like I was definitely like, this is a stateroom that I would sail in with my family, because you had a living room area with the sofa that became a double bed, but it was also large enough that my kids will not sleep together. I'm just gonna say, like, my kids will not sleep together. And so it's hard because a lot of times I want to have 2 beds for them. But someone just gave me the great idea that what I should do is I should pack a blow-up mattress, like just a twin size blow-up mattress that I could put in my suitcase, and I could make another bed. This room was big enough that I could absolutely have room to put another bed on the floor for my difficult children who won't sleep together. But then there's the master bedroom with the king bed, and you can shut the door, and it had a beautiful huge balcony, and you could get to the balcony from the master bedroom or from the like living room area. And then that room, even this, it wasn't like club level, but it came with like the additional perks, and you got concierge service and butler service. You got an espresso machine in the room, which is great because that's very hard to find on a cruise. You don't usually have a coffee maker in your room.
No, you don't. That's not typical.
And so that was like I was like, that is what I need right there, is an espresso machine in my room. And then you had upgraded toiletries. So all of the staterooms have like lotion and hand soap and shampoo and body wash, but those rooms, they had L'Occitane. I always think I'm going to say that wrong, but it's like really, they smelled really great. But that was probably my favorite stateroom. That was my favorite stateroom that we toured that I am feasibly ever going to be able to book and stay in.
Well, I do know you toured a very special stateroom.
We did.
In a very special category.
We did. We got to get a little glimpse of how the other half lives, and we got into the Haven, which is the most luxurious VIP area of the ship. And that was amazing. And Courtney gave me a little confidence to like hop on a tour that I really probably wasn't supposed to be on, but I just was nice and polite, and they let me in, and I got to tour an owner's suite, which was amazing. Like, it was just mind-blowingly amazing. I mean, it can sleep up to 8 people. It had a master bedroom with a walk-in closet that I swear was as big as our stateroom. And the bathroom was all marble and had a huge walk-in shower and a huge jetted tub. They had a jacuzzi on the deck. They had a dining area out on there. They had the balcony was like the whole corner of the ship. It was absolutely amazing. Like, I was like, this would be the life right here.
Yes. Do they only have one owner suite on the ship? Do you know? Or
I don't think so. I think they have more than one.
More than one.
I do think they do. I never really got the exact room category of that room, because again, it was not technically open for review. It was just like some other people were going to look at it quickly. Someone actually was staying in that room and they just hadn't checked in yet.
So you got to have a peek at it.
We literally had like 5 minutes. Like, that was like what the guy was like, you guys have like 5 minutes, just, be quick. And I was like, okay, I'm taking pictures.
Nice.
But I do think they have a few different owners, different categories. That one was the largest, but I think there is another owner suite category that's not as large. But it was amazing. And then I'll let Courtney talk about the rest of the Haven, because she got to hang out in it.
Because the Haven comes with some major perks.
Perks. It does. And part of that is exclusivity. You get your own private lounge that has their own designated bar, beautiful private sun deck area that, I convinced Colleen to go on this little tour. I was like, follow those people. Colleen bought everything. I couldn't buy. She did the tours. I was too scared to do. She's a perfect traveling companion. I just sat at the bar, got a little drink. I was like, I gotta just like blend in, be like one of them. And then just kind of toured the deck. Beautiful sunbeds, probably some of the best views on the ship, to be honest. A beautiful infinity edge pool that goes right over the bow of the ship. Gorgeous. And they have their own private restaurant as well. There's Haven categories on other Norwegian ships that don't have a private restaurant. I think most of the newer ships, they're trying to have that private restaurant in there. With the Haven, you get the 24-hour butler service. It's a private key holder access area. So when we're talking about that exclusivity, there's limited amount of suites, so that, you got your own ship, basically. You get also priority embarkation and priority dining and show reservations, which when we talk about the shows, I think that's key, because I think some of the shows on the ship are going to be really like, people are really going to want to go to. Normally you get to all the other stateroom categories get to reserve dining and shows 90 days before, but with Haven it's 130 days before. And club, for people that aren't necessarily wanting to go all the way up to the Haven, the club level gets 125 days before access to dining and entertainment. Nice. So that's kind of a nice plus. But yeah, I mean, it was just beautiful. They also had this beautiful like concierge desk where it's just like, I mean, on ask and you will receive it, basically. It's dedicated just to you.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to guest services with everybody else. So it was amazing. It was definitely the way to sail, I think.
It was.
Their sun deck was gorgeous, and their pool, like Courtney said, was just, I mean, I can't even imagine anything better than being in that pool with the infinity edge and overlooking just the ocean. It's right there.
Yeah. And I would imagine it's not super crowded up there either. So which makes it nice.
Yeah, right. Because there's limited rooms and you cannot get in there unless you have the key card to, I mean, they have their own elevators,
Yes.
their own entrances, like there's no, and everything looks really nice. Like, it's just like, you can tell when you like turn the corner and it's the Haven elevator and you're like, oh, that's the Haven elevator.
Off limits to me. Yeah.
I think they have their own entrance too, to the spa and the gym area.
Wow.
And they also get I forgot to mention priority seating at the shows. So like, I think, you know, if you come in and there's like spots that say reserved, that's probably for the Haven. Yes.
Yeah. You are truly a VIP if you stay in the Haven. Like, just, you're going to have the best time.
You
Nice.
are.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, let's dive into dining. So I've seen the pictures and we have chatted about it, and the food looks amazing. So kind of maybe talk about your experiences and the different types of dining that you can do on this cruise ship, because there are a lot of options that are actually included that I think would surprise people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, there were not enough meals. Like,
Yes.
I needed more meals on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
There was only so much stomach space, but I was amazed at how much included dining there was, and a big part of that was because of the indulge food hall.
Mm-hmm.
So most cruise ships are going to have the buffet, and then you have your main dining room. But this ship, the Prima, has an additional dining venue called the Indulge Food Hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a buffet, but it's similar in a way, because there's like a little bit of everything, you know, all different types of cuisines and something for everyone. But the setup is a little different, where you sit at a table and you have a tablet with the menus that's at each of the different dining stations, and you can order it right then somebody brings it to you. So it's
nice.
an interesting hybrid between like a buffet and like a quick service, but you get the food brought out to you. And there was just everything you could think, you know, if you wanted Indian food or Mexican food or seafood or a salad or soup, I mean, they just had a little of everything. And that was included, and it was really top-notch food. I mean, it was, and each of the kitchens was separate, which is something that you don't find a lot, like either in a buffet or even at like all-inclusive resorts. When you have like all those different restaurants, they all share a kitchen in the back. But this was literally, like, you could see like each individual food area had its own kitchen and its own chefs making just that food. And it was very impressive.
Yeah,
I would imagine it would be popular too.
Oh, totally. It reminded me of like if you ever go to like food truck festivals. Like one of the restaurants was actually like decorated like it looked like an actual food truck.
Oh, fun.
But it just I was like, oh, it's all different, like just types of food. It's like a bunch of different food trucks, but it's easier because instead of having to go up to every one, you can just sit down and it comes to you. They did also have seating at the individual locations, and we found out that if you sit in front of an individual like location, you can only order from that location. But they have so much seating around. I mean, they know it's going to be popular because there's so much beautiful outdoor seating, and a lot of indoor seating as well in that area for people, because it's included. I mean, there are some a la carte options to purchase separately. There's some high-end desserts, some fancy sundaes, and then there's a Starbucks in there, and that's separate as well. But everything else is absolutely included.
Wow, that's amazing, and I'm so glad that you have that option to do that. I think we froze here. Okay, I think
so you could get a cocktail or a beer or a mimosa in the morning, you know. So there was it just gave it an elevated feel, but I was super impressed. And I also was impressed by the local bar and grill, which is another included food. And I was also surprised that was included, you know, that was another option. And it was really just kind of like a bar. It was a sports bar. And then they also had a section that was table service, where you actually got sat at a table and there was wait staff. And then they just had like really good pub fare, burgers and hot dogs and chicken wings. I had some chicken wings that were fantastic. Pretzels and fries. I can't even remember all of the things that we had, but it was all good.
Right.
It sounds amazing. I mean, I really sounds good. I'm like getting hungry here.
I know, right? It's making me hungry. Well, yes. And the local was very popular because it was the sports bar.
Yeah.
And they had multiple TVs and they played sporting events during the cruise. So like, Sunday night, of course, it's football season. So we went to walk through there and it was party central. Like that was where a lot of people were hanging out watching the game.
Nice.
It was a cool place to hang out.
So how was the table service? Like the main, you guys did a specialty dining?
Yeah. I wish we could have done more specialty dining.
Yes.
Oh, it's like literally my only regret, right? Is that we couldn't do any more. I thought the main dining rooms were great. They were very elegant and had a very upscale feel to them, which I do find most cruise ships, that I've been on have that like elegant feel, but the food was delicious. And we did eat at the main dining room for breakfast one time and then lunch another time and then dinner a couple of times, but it was.
And there's two main dining rooms. Yes. On most Norwegian ships. Their menus are very similar. On this ship, I feel like they were exactly the same.
Okay.
They were. Yeah, there was just a couple things that were a little different. So I'm not sure if that will change on other sailings. It also didn't change night to night.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the other Norwegian cruise I went on, the menus were still kind of similar for both main dining rooms.
Okay.
And they did differ a little bit. There might be like a new offering on if you went like on another day, but they didn't change too much.
Okay.
But they have the buffet. Then they always have some sort of like the local bar and grill, some sort of bar and grill with comfort food that's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
So there's other options as well.
But the main dining rooms I thought were lovely and everything we ate at them was delicious. I mean, I had steak the first night and then now I did one night have lamb chops and that was an additional charge. So
okay.
There can be like a couple of things that might be a little bit extra. And I think if I understand correctly on the menu, it said that it was a featured dish from one of the signature restaurants, which I'm assuming was maybe Cagney's. But so the lamb chop dish that I got was actually a dish from one of the signature restaurants, which it was a little bit of an extra charge for that, but it wasn't bad. I mean,
I was going to say usually when they have that, it's usually not that.
I think it was like $15.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy. It's not like you're paying $50 extra or anything.
No. It was very reasonable. But I think a big highlight. This was my first Norwegian cruise, but it felt to me like the big draw and highlight is the specialty restaurants, and they're probably assuming, especially since if you book balcony or higher, you get the free at sea. You're going to get at least one complimentary dinner at a specialty restaurant, and if it's a longer sailing you might get more that people will be eating at those restaurants, and there's so many to choose from. I mean, I wanted to try all of them, I'll be honest. I really did. But we only could eat at one. We had to only pick one. It was like the hardest decision. We literally had conversations leading up to the cruise trying to prioritize which specialty restaurant we were going to go with, right? I mean, we had like a game plan, like going in, we're like, okay, if we can't get this one, we're going to go with this one. And it's our first choice. But we actually got our first choice. We were on it. So we were in the line.
That's good. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, we got it. But yeah, we went to Palomar, which is a brand new restaurant to the Prima, is the only ship that has it. And which is why we decided we would eat at it. And it's Mediterranean with heavy emphasis on seafood. And it was fantastic. I mean, it was a very, they say specialty dining, but it really was a special dinner. I felt like they really make it into a special dinner.
Okay. I'm not a big seafood person, but the food that you guys had looked amazing. I mean, it
They
looked
did
really
have a
good.
steak on the menu, so
yeah.
you had
But they also have, when it comes to specialty dining, I think they have at least 8, maybe more options to choose from on that ship, on all the any ship. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, there's so many different ones to choose from. Cagney's is their steakhouse that's on all the ships. It's very popular. I told Colleen, because she's gonna, you both are sailing Hawaii.
I know. I'm waiting. I'll do Cagney's on the Pride of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, and they're all just delicious. Everything we had was amazing. And the service was incredible. Special little touches like fresh grilled bread. With
oh my God, that was so good.
Fresh sage into, it was just gorgeous.
Everything was.
But I was wondering, Colleen, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
I haven't actually sailed like Royal or anything yet. So I'm wondering how you think the freestyle dining compares to like the traditional cruise dining, because that's something that Norwegian really boasts, is their freestyle experience. Like they're not locked into a time and all this stuff. So I'm wondering how you think.
I like it. I really do, because honestly, when I've gone on other cruises, choosing which dining time to go with is like stressful for me. Because I don't know what I'm going to be like, my schedule. And I will say that on other cruises where I am been locked into a dining time, it can make it difficult to plan other things. And maybe I miss out on something or don't get to do something because if I did that, I wouldn't be done by the dinner time, or my dinner time isn't going to be done by the time that starts. So, I loved it. I was only worried that you would have to wait for a long, because on other cruise lines, some cruise lines do have like a my time dining.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And there have been occasions where even though I had a set dining time, we got there late. So, and you usually have to wait for a table. But we did not experience that at all. We never, well, no, that's not true. When we went to the Commodore room, we did have to wait.
We did. Yeah.
We did have to wait when we went there. That was a smaller dining room, but and we went at like peak dinner time.
We did, yeah.
But we still didn't wait that long. We just went to the bar and had a drink. So
we waited, less than 30 minutes. And
yeah, I was gonna say
also it was because of our sailing, there was limited specialty, you weren't able to have all the options that I think like on a normal sailing you would. And I think that's kind of why things got a little bit congested. But normally I think it would be probably fine.
Yeah. No, and I wonder if you can reserve a time, because when we went to dinner with Jill, it seemed like she had a time reserved.
I bet you for some of I bet you like in the Haven, I bet you absolutely could reserve a time.
Yeah, especially if you're with a group of people, oh, I got 8 people or 10 people, you can set it up ahead of time to be there at, so they know they'll have a table ready for you. But yeah, I thought I was really impressed with their food. I really was. I thought it was really good, really high quality.
Oh, good. Very good. That's good to know, because food's very important to people. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people do cruise, because it's included with your package. So they want to have like a really good meal. So I find that most cruise ships have really good dining, some better than others. But I find that most really do have a lot of options and great choices. So, well, let's talk about the fun stuff as we start to wrap things up. So you did a lot of fun things, including shows and activities, and we probably won't cover it all on today's
so much episode. To cover. It's really a lot to cover.
It is.
There is so much on this ship.
Yeah, so let's start with the slides, because I did touch on that in the beginning, that we were going to talk about that, and then we'll dive into kind of the shows and other fun things. So they have a drop slide that Colleen did.
I did.
And they have another slide that both of you did. And
that's
of course
right.
They have the Speedway and the Ocean Walk.
So fun.
So we'll talk about that, and then we could dive into that. So let's share your experience on. I couldn't do the drop slide. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. But Colleen was great.
Not nearly as scary as you think. It wasn't. It wasn't as scary as you think, I promise.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very interesting. So they're both dry slides, we should say too. So the drop slide is a dry slide. It's not a water slide. And it's not that bad of a drop. It's not like a full just drop slide. But the floor does, come out from under you and you go. But then it's a tube, then it's like a tube and you go around, right? And it was really fun and very popular for sure. And I was thinking, I hope maybe they'll do this, if eventually they should have shirts. Like you should be able to buy a shirt that says like, I survived the drop or something.
That would be good. That would be good.
I would have bought that shirt. I'm just saying.
Norwegian, if you're listening.
I know.
Marketing tips for you.
You have to have these shirts. Yeah. Honestly, I would have liked it to have gone a little faster, I will say. So I think it's pretty like family friendly, like kid friendly. I think that even though you guys are afraid of it, like I really think if you went on it, you would be surprised. Like, oh, it wasn't really that scary.
I think it's the control issue because you can't push the button of knowing when it's going to drop.
Yeah,
it counts down, so slowly, not like.
So you're in there and it counts down. It says like 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it beeps and then it drops. So it's coming.
But you do, but Colleen, your face looked like you were literally walking the plank, like you were walking to your death. I was like, Colleen, you're
so funny. You do realize that part of that was just for dramatic effect, right? Like I knew you were filming me. And I wanted to make a good footage, so I hammed it up a little bit, but I wasn't really that scared. I really wasn't.
You channeled your acting skills into that.
Yeah, I was definitely like, I knew you were filming and I was trying to be like, oh my God, but it was not, I wasn't that scared. Which funny because I've been to water parks that have drop water slides and I would never in a million years do those. Like I was like, nope, not doing it. But I did this one. It was fine. And then the other one we did was the Rush, which is supposed to be like a dueling, like racing slides. But when we went, one of the slides wasn't open because it was being cleaned. So we had to take turns going down the same slide. But so Courtney went on that one, right?
I did on that one because I had heard through the grapevine that it wasn't so fast. And I was like, all right. Another cool thing about the dry slides is that you're not just kind of like you're not just like in the slide by yourself. They give you like a little blanket that you're like kind of wrapped in and you hold on to. And so you go down in that. And I don't know if that mitigated some of the speed, but the brush slide was totally doable. I was filming the whole way down. I'll have to post that.
She did. She was a pro. I was like, I didn't even think to film the whole way.
Oh yeah. That was fun. You'll have to send the video so we can see.
Yeah, I will. So that was a lot of fun. Both slides drop down 10 decks. So they're really fun. And then we also got to try the go-karts, which I feel like is very unique to Norwegian. And are really fun.
They were more fun than I expected them to be. Like I've gone on go-karts before, but maybe these ones were better. Like I thought the track was amazing and the go-karts go like, I mean, they don't really go that fast, I guess, but feel faster than some other go-karts.
It feels fast. I read somewhere that like, I think they go up to 20, they can go up to 50 miles per hour, but Norwegian capped it at like 27-ish miles an hour. Okay. I must have been going like 10 miles an hour because I was last, but I was
there were times I wished I could go faster. I was like trying to get around people, and I was like, oh, come on, like really, pressing the gas down. But I honestly I knew it would be fun, but I didn't know I would have that much fun on it. And I would have gone on it again. Like I would have done that multiple times. I really would have, but I'm very competitive. I was like I didn't look at the number of my car. This is what you have to make sure you look at the number of your car when you get in it, because it's behind you. So when you're like I didn't look, and then when I got out, I just walked out, and then I was like, oh shoot, what number am I? Because they put on the leaderboard how fast everybody went, so you can see like your fastest lap, and then of course they list it in order of who went fastest. And I didn't know which one I was. I kind of guessed, but
I would like to see you and Dana compete on that one.
That would be so much fun. It might be bad. We might end up crashing or something.
Yeah, because you'll be too competitive.
There's also a really cool observation deck. If Dana and Colleen competed, that's where I would be.
Yes,
on the observation deck. Yes, and they have these laser guns to make it a super interactive experience for everyone, where you can kind of if you aim it at certain cars, you can give the car a speed boost.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
nice.
if you shoot that car, it'll make that person have a little boost. And then there's another board that shows the people up there with the laser guns, how well they did, like how many shots they did.
Oh, nice. How accurate. Nice.
It's very competitive. It's very
competitive. So fun. One tip I'll say is do not bring a bag with you. Some people I don't carry bags on the ship, but some people carry like a little bag with them, and they had
You're not allowed.
Colleen, didn't you have to go all the way down?
Yeah, I had to go back to our stateroom and bring my bag back. Yeah.
So for any of the slides, any of the speedway stuff, because they're not going to hold it for you there. They just don't want to have that liability.
Yeah, you can't bring anything on the car with you, and there's nowhere to store stuff. So yeah. And you do have to have closed-toed shoes and closed-heeled, like you have like sneakers. You really need to have like sneakers. They won't let you go on with flip-flops or sandals or anything.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, for any of that, especially for the warmer cruises. I mean, we obviously can't prepare because it was cold on our cruise, but yeah, if people come up in like bathing suits and flip-flops, no, they'll send you back.
You can't do it.
Good to know. Well, how were the shows? So did you get to see a couple of them or just one or two?
We saw all the shows,
right? Saw all the shows.
We got to see all the shows in the main theater, the theater. Donna Summer and Noise Boys were kind of like more of the Broadway-ish type. Donna Summer is straight from Broadway. Noise Boys is more of a unique to Norwegian, a beatbox tap show. Nice. Both were amazing. Donna Summer, the voices were incredible. And they had Donna Summer like 3 different ages of her life.
So cool.
Yeah, I've seen the show, so it's amazing.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, okay. Not on Norwegian, but I've seen it.
Donna Summer, we were like, she looked like she was 10 years old.
Yes.
But apparently she was actually 20.
She really was 20
wow.
something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow.
She was the talk of the ship. Like we actually like ran into multiple people where we were like, what do you think? Is that like a kid? Like, is she a kid? Or then someone said they actually found out that she's actually was in her 20s. And I was like, no. And then we actually saw her one night when they didn't have the show. She was like all dressed up and they were like going out to dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the girl from the Donna Summer show. And she actually looked like, okay, yeah, I could see she's 20 something, but.
Okay.
But the highlight was Price is Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That would be so fun.
Interactive game shows that they're bringing to the ship are just a level up. I mean, it was the most fun experience.
It was so cool.
Ever.
So I have a question.
Legit. It was legit. What?
I have a question on the Price is Right.
Yeah.
So if you get picked, do you actually win like a legit prize, or is it more for fun and
No, there's real prizes. No, it's like, I mean, it was, I can't even, I'm geeking out about it, but it was like, I didn't know what to expect, because I'm assuming, they're calling it Price is Right. They must have like rights, like copyright rights to do it.
Right.
But everything from the podiums that the contestants go up to and like bid on, like in the beginning, they bring something out and they all have to bid, and whoever gets, the right price gets to go up.
Nice.
That was all like exactly like the show, the music, the microphones, the games. They had Plinko, like actual Plinko.
Oh my goodness, that'd be fun.
They did the cliffhanger game with the little yodel guy. Like it was legit, the real stuff. And then
they had the wheel at the end.
They had the wheel.
Oh,
so they did do it a little. It was a little different, the setup of the game, but like, yes, once the person got to go up, they got to play whatever game it was for that round. And they were actually playing for a prize. And did anyone actually win the prize? Or
so the biggest prize at the end is the whole showcase showdown, when they show you all of the things. Yes. And they started out kind of small. It was like a movie theme. And they had like an old fashioned popcorn machine, a fun Coke machine, because now Norway switched over to Coke products. So there was a big Yeah. And then they had a beautiful flat screen TV.
Yeah.
And then the biggest prize was a Corvette.
Yeah, a Corvette.
Oh my.
Like a brand new Corvette.
Oh my.
But so the difference was there's only one showcase. There was only one, because on the real Price is Right, there's 2, right? And so the person can either bid or pass it. There was just the one, and they each had to guess. And in order to win the Corvette, you had to be within like $150.
Yeah, you had to get really close.
You had to be really close to win the Corvette.
Yeah.
But the person did win the TV.
She goes, yeah, the person won the TV, she was within like a couple $1,000s.
Okay.
And they did like I think in total, like 4 rounds of different people. So 24 people got called up and got to play, which, I mean, doesn't seem like a lot when it comes to the theater, but it actually, I mean, that's kind of awesome. Like 24 people every show get to go up and play, and it's called at random. And if you're in the show, it's fair game. Like if you're going to this show, you could get called.
Yes.
So be prepared, or be like me and be ready to give your name tag to your friend.
That was her plan, to give it to me, and I had to pretend to be her. But yeah, because when you get to the show, you check in and they scan your key card, and then they give you the sticker, and it's just like on The Price is Right, and they write your name on it for you. But everybody who participated got a t-shirt.
Yes. That's fun.
Got a t-shirt. Yeah. Which I was like so jealous of.
Yeah. They got a t-shirt. And then if you didn't win the prize, like there were some people that didn't win because they had little prizes like throughout the game. Like they gave away a nice pair of Beats headphones.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
If they didn't win, they still got some sort of goodie bag. And I don't know exactly what was in that goodie bag.
Yeah, we don't know. But anybody who got up on stage got a goodie bag if they didn't win the prize. But it was so fun. Like, I don't know. I would need to go back and I need to figure out how to get picked to go up on stage. But
do they do Prices Right every night, or is it on select nights?
On our sailing, they just did 2. It was one night and they had 2 shows.
Yeah, but I bet you it's going to be similar to other sailings. For longer sailings, I bet you'll have more chances to go. But they all, because like again, they also are going to have some sort of main show, like a Donna Summer or Noise. Right. So they're alternating. And they did 2 a night. So they have an earlier show at like 6:30. Yeah, and then they have a later show. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a huge draw for people. They're also going to start unveiling Supermarket Sweep on other ships later. And that's I can't even imagine how good that's going to be. I mean, there's going to be actual aisles of food and things to get. People are going to be running up and down.
That show would be hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
That would be fun.
And the best part, I mean, not the best part, but a fun part is there's like a bar before, you get to have your drink. There's servers coming up and down the aisles before the show. So like you're enjoying your cocktail. So if you are nervous like me, get some liquid courage and get up there and start bidding.
Oh my God. That would be fun. That would be fun. Well, it sounds like it's an amazing ship. And it's an incredible cruise, and I mean, you could just be on the ship all day and not even get off and have a fantastic time. So if you are looking for more information about the Norwegian Prima or just Norwegian Cruise Line in general, make sure you reach out to the agents at Mystical Dream Travel, and be sure to subscribe, follow us, and like us wherever you listen to your podcast. And make sure you check us out on social media, but also on YouTube is what I meant to say. We do have a YouTube channel, so you could watch us live or not live, or in video. I can't talk today. So be sure to check us out, and thank you so much for listening, and may all your vacations be extra magical.